in this time and age. Because when that policy came out, knowledge was increasing every 18 months. But now, knowledge is increasing every 18 seconds. So you can't say, because something is working now, let us keep it the way it is without investigating it and putting some people to look at what is happening vis-a-vis what is going to happen in the next 5-6 years. AI has come to threaten all of us. Whether you like it or not, your exploitation team must be thinking about AI, and not just that, thinking about a whole lot of other things, or else you will have a winning product now that is not a guaranteed winning product in the next 5-6 years. Sorry, in the next 5-6 months. Yeah. So attention must be paid to that. And then also, you also pay attention to the exploration. Where is my business supposed to be in the next 10 years? You know, there's something called the law of time perspective. And the law of time perspective states that the longer you put into consideration when you are planning, the better you are than somebody who put a shorter time into consideration. In other words, the guy who plans 20 years, who plans 30 years, is way better than the guy who plans 5 years. The guy who plans 5 years is way better than the guy who plans 5 months. So some of us are planning 50 years that I know that I will not be alive in the next 50 years. I don't even want to be. I know that my energy level will have gone down. There's no abracadabra about it. There's no prayer about it. But then planning has gone. Attention is paid to the children. Attention is paid to their mind. So that their mind is changed, their mind is worked on, and then once their mind is worked on, then the grandchildren are already guaranteed. Oh, you didn't get that. Wish I had 2 days or 3 days to explain this. Now, I picked one of my sisters, and I going to invest almost a 10 million naira into her traveling just for vacation. Somebody say, no, why waste the 10 million naira? Why not put the 10 million naira on a business venture? You don't know what we're doing. I'm dealing with the mindset. She has never flown before. She has never traveled out of the country before. So I'm going to invest it, but before I invest it, I'm going to do a reorientation. And then travel, leave the exploitation to your head of operation or your COO to handle, your chief operating officer. Your own is to see the future. Bringing in partners is going to make me see the future. Organizing my board, that I'm not actively an executive member of the board, is going to make me see the future. And then everything I do has a minimum of 10 years plan. When I started these conferences that I was doing in Lagos, I already had it in mind that I'm not looking at making profit in the next 10 years. Now, how can you be doing a program? How can you start a business and you're not thinking about making profit in the next 10 years? But guess what? We're not up to 10 years. And the kind of profit we're making right now is even mind-blowing. That's why we're looking for partners. And I say, I am a difficult person to compete with in this field. Because while you want to make money in your first 2 years, I am looking at not making money in my first 10 years. So how do you compete with me? It's not possible. What am I trying to say? You want to play the long-term game, you must be an explorer. And when you want to be an explorer, you must be in the same room with people who have the mentality to explore. Look, I'm done. You are still with me? I thought you were timing me. So, but this is it. You know, so a guy, I saw a TikTok. And that's one of the things that you need to also pay attention to when it comes to energy, generating energy. Now, the guy in the TikTok said something that they asked him, he was a billionaire, that if you lose everything and then you're supposed to start again, how will you start? You know what he said? He said he learned this when he was in a secret court before he changed. That in the secret court, what they taught them is that there is always vibes, energy, flow in gatherings. That what he will do is for him to just put himself in a room where billionaires are and millionaires are. That he doesn't need to even ask any question. He doesn't even need to talk to anybody. What he just needs to do is to stay there on a regular basis, because there is a contagious part of the energy that is flowing within the room that he can encounter, and then his mindset will change. Most people don't understand that. That's why you see the guys who are sustaining their businesses, they will always try to be in the gathering of people who are sustaining businesses. It does not matter what it will cost them. Because energy is contagious. Energy is contagious. You can never live the same again having come to this conference. Because one, there's an intellectual impact. But much more than that, there's energy flowing from near this one right now into the congregation. Into the audience. There's energy. Minds are being changed. There's a challenge right now coming to somebody that goes, this is the next thing to do. So what I would advise you to do is to make sure that you put yourself in communities of not one-eyed man leading the blind. Put yourself in the community of a two-eyed person looking at somebody who has telescope to be able to see the future. When you put yourself in the same room with them, you'll be shocked the kind of thing that will affect your mind and move you to the next level. Exploration. As a businessman, you don't explore, you will not sustain anything. It does not matter how much you do with exploitation. And then as a businessman, if all you do is to explore, you definitely also will not grow anything. Because it takes you to be ambidextrous. You must exploit. At the same time, explore. One must not be given more attention than the other. You miss it there, you miss it everywhere. And what exploration does for you is that it gives you unbelievable energy. Remember what I said about energy. Energy is spiritual. If you think you can run a business without being spiritual, welcome to the club. The reason why you think that you can do it without being spiritual is because you have not crossed a threshold. Once you cross that threshold, you will see men in demon and demon in men. They will show up. Sometimes they will show up as regulators. Show up as regulators. They will intimidate you. There's a slide I have here that will teach you the kind of people to partner with. If you can show me the slide. But, can you guys be quick about that? Or should I drop the mic? Me too, I want to drop the mic. I'm even feeling guilty that I've spent my time. Moreover, this is not a big event for me. It's not hope you didn't hear me. Are you getting something out of it? Are you getting something out of it? Look, there's something about Nia Adesanya brand. I'm not the one kind of a speaker to tickle your fancy. Yeah, I'm not. I'll give you nuggets. I'll give you practical things that you can use in the next day. I mean, I'm so pragmatic. I'm not philosophical. So pragmatic because there's something about, people call numbers, but they don't really have the numbers. Data does not support them. How many people are billionaires in Nigeria? They're not up to 10,000, according to data. Some people say there are people who are billions, but they can't shout. So how do we want to deal with them? The politicians are there, they have data, they have numbers, they have money, and they are not showing it because they are not putting it in the soccer way. So how do we want to deal with them? We deal with numbers that we have. So if data is telling us that there are about only 8,000 to 9,000 people that has $1 million in Nigeria, then you need to pay attention to that. So most of the things that you see is all your money. All your money. People don't see that. Let me quickly run through this and I'll drop the mic. Now, 7 partners you need to grow and sustain your business. You know, we're talking about sustaining a growing venture. Hello? Hello? So quickly, I will jump. A doctor, very important. Look, life expectancy in Nigeria is 54 years. So it is expected that every man should die, most men should die at 54 in Nigeria, and we are the lowest. For women, it's 54.9. In other words, they just added 9 months to the women, 54.9. So some of us who have crossed 54 are glad. That's why I'm throwing a party at my 55th birthday next month. I've crossed and everything like that. But you need a doctor in your life. You need a consultant. And especially when all the doctors are jackpotting, you need to have one on your payroll, on your retainership. Your retainership that is telling them that, look, whenever I call you, whether in the middle of the night or not, you need to pay attention to me. You know, if you call someone in the middle of the night, it depends on what you have given them before that can make them answer the phone. If they're on retainership, they know this is work. So a doctor must be there, especially when you are in Nigeria, knowing that it's 54 years. That is the life expectancy. You need a doctor for you to sustain your business. When anything or if anything goes wrong, you will not be thinking about any business. You'll be thinking about your health. How do I get out of the sick bed? That's number 1. Number 2, let me jump owners, accountants. Accountant. How can you be running a business that you don't have a chartered accountant and you're moving some great number of income money? I mean, an accountant, a chartered accountant, an experienced chartered accountant needs to be in your organization. Not on a part-time or a contract level, but domicile in the organization. And then aside, auditors, sound auditors. You know, recently, some people from FIRS, not NRS, FIRS. So they will know that I'm not talking about the new one. They came to investigate me in my organization, 5 men. I was wondering, why? What am I making? Who am I? I mean, they came, sat down with me, but you know what? My auditor was sitting beside me. And he told me there are some questions that you don't have to answer. I am the one that will answer it. So once I tap you, keep your mouth shut. Let me answer it. So there was some question they asked me that I thought I had the answer. Thank God they tapped me. When I trained them, that's when I realized that I don't have the answer. So an accountant and an auditor. Let me drop politician. I'll move 2 or 4 together. Lawyers. The Honorable Justice is here, so but she will just take this as humor and then we'll move on with it. And it wasn't me anyway. Me Lord wasn't me. It was Elon Musk that defined a good lawyer and a great lawyer. If Elon Musk talk, even you and I need to start writing. He said a good lawyer is the one that knows the law and knows the lacuna, the gaps. But the great lawyer is the one that knows the judge. See, that statement is very pregnant. Very pregnant. So I will leave you to go and figure it out. Because actually, you can't be doing some particular numbers and then the lawyer that you are dealing with is just a good lawyer. Are we together here? There are some things you can't say in a big gathering like this. You just say little and allow. The Yorubas will say that half word. That's what we speak to the wise child. When he enters the child, he becomes what? Fool. and everything. You need investors and you need bankers. Please don't let them deceive you that there's no money in Nigeria. There's money in Nigeria. Don't let them deceive you that interest rates are about 30 something. No, it's a lie. It's not everybody that they charge 30 something percent. Some people get, sometimes somebody was even telling me that I can get you something, telling one of my clients that we can get you something single digit interest. I say, wow. Oh yeah, bring it, let me see. I'm here to see it though. But single digit interest, there are people like that. And then when you now bring 4 and 2 together, then that is where the magic is. Look, election is coming now in January, Abi, and they are making noise. Once they start picking the nomination of their parties, wherever your business is located, make sure you know the 2 or top 3 that may win. As a businessman, send money to the 3. Send money to the 3. Let them know you, let them see you, because you see, why am I even quoting Yoruba proverb these days? But you know, there's a proverb that says that it is the son of the fire that you send to fire. If you want to survive, sometimes it's the people in the establishment that you send to the establishment to be able to quell or quench the agitation of establishment. So if you have not built relationship with the people in establishment, how do you send the person from establishment to help you quell it? So make sure you service all of them as much as you can. And let them know. See, what I'm giving you, I'm giving to other people, I'm giving so that you don't hear. I'm staying neutral, but I'm supporting. They will even tell you, know what, stay neutral. It's your own good. Because they are owners. Look, as I round up, you know, I read recently that Jimovia is resigning as the chairman of Zenith Bank. Lucky him, eh? Yeah. Do you know Erastus Akingbola didn't have that opportunity? Yeah. Neither did Cecilia Ibru. Why? Politicians. When Sanusi came for their banks, he took it. He sacked all of them. He said he was coming for second round. And the Jimovias, the Red Boys, went to the Green Chambers and activated the politicians that they were there for before they moved into the Green Chambers. And the Green Chambers called Sanusi and gagged him. You can't do this, you can't do that. So he said, anybody that has done 10 years, resign. Am I right? Can you remember? And then the Red Boys resigned. But they still had their banks. And then after that, Sanusi left. So they lobbied, and they bought their boy to be the head of the regulatory body. You get it. Yeah. That's the idea. So he canceled that policy and said they could come back and become chairman of their boards. So they became chairman of their boards because they understood that you need politicians to be able to sustain a growing venture. Anywhere your business is, whosoever is representing that constituency must be in your good books. Everybody regulating your industry, no matter who they are, must be in your good book. Those are the owners. Patitomic taught me that regulator capture. You have to be able to capture everybody that regulates your industry. So that if anything is going to happen, they are going to tell you ahead of time. Put your house in order. Because some people are coming. And I hope with these few words of mine, I've been able to confuse you further. Have you gotten something out of this? Much more than anything, don't ever settle. Whether you are 70, whether you are 80, whether you are 90, the day you settle is the day you begin to die. Don't ever settle. Look for something else to go for. Whenever you achieve a success, before you celebrate, look for a new vision to pursue. At the party of celebration, when you're celebrating, cast that new vision immediately. And say, you can go and rest, you can go and celebrate, but this is where we're going when we come back. Because you must use the momentum to build for the other success. That is how to stay relevant. That's how to keep going. And that's how to sustain a growing venture. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe Pastor Nee deserves yet another resounding round of applause. Can we give him an Abuja round of applause? Come on, more energy.
Sitting down, just stand up, stand up. Appreciate him, appreciate him.
Thank you so very much, sir. That was insightful and mind-boggling. Because, of course, you spoke truth to power, first by being realistic, and, of course, being spiritual.
So hiding under Elon Musk, he took a swipe at my community. But we are going to, Prince Nee, let me use the word you use, Prince Nee, we are going to discuss that one later. About knowing the judge and knowing the law, we'll discuss it later.
Yes, he said a good lawyer is one who knows the law.
Thank you very, very much. That's what I said. You hid under Elon Musk to take a swipe at my community.
Thank you so very much. So we are going to recognize a few guests.
Yeah, special guests who joined us here today. Thank you very much for coming in.
Distinguished guests, and in no particular order, we, of course, would love to give a huge welcome and thank you to Dr. Abioye Oke, CEO Lifestyle Asset Hub Limited. Can you please stand for recognition, sir? Thank you so very much for being here.
I also want to welcome Coach Sam Obafemi, who is the founder, CEO, Convergance Africa. Please, if you're here, just raise your hand up.
Thank you, sir. And of course, we have the Managing Director, Founder Institute, in the person of Ajuma Ataguba. Can we please give him a resounding round of applause?
Ajuma is here. We also want to welcome from the Shepherd's House Assembly, Reverend Jackie Talena. Please, a round of applause for her, please.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jackie Talena, for gracing us with your presence. And of course, we have the President, DYL Global, in the person of Mr. Emmanuel Rotiba. Can we please give him a resounding round of applause? Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Also, we have the JPI National Vice President, Mrs. Chinyere Uchendu.
Thank you, Mrs. Chinyere, for being here.
And also my very good friend, Mr. Onofiok A. Luke, PhD, is here. Please, a round of applause for him, please.
Thank you so very much, sir. And then we have the head of corporate affairs, who is representing the DG of Smeden in the person of Mr. Moshood Lawal. Can we please give him a resounding round of applause? Thank you so very much, sir, for being here. We honor you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the program is going on, and we have the distinguished honor of bringing somebody who I respect a lot for our innovation, our tenacity, and of course our contribution to my basic community, that is law. I said earlier that by training I'm a lawyer. By choice or apropos, I became a broadcaster. So, ladies and gentlemen, she needs no further introduction because she's a distinguished jurist who's known for her contributions to judicial innovation and legal administration. I mean, she pioneered the digital affidavit thing in the whole of the FCT. And she's a strong advocate for mentorship and leadership development as she continues to influence legal and institutional growth.
Exactly. And in a world desperately seeking integrity, courage, and justice, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker represents the very essence of principled leadership. She's a woman whose career has been a testament to excellence within the judiciary and beyond. I, for instance, I met her first in the classroom as a facilitator. Through years of service, she has broken barriers in spaces traditionally dominated by men and power structures, proving that competence, character, and conviction still matters in Nigeria, in Africa, and in the world. She stands today not only as a legal luminary, but as a symbol of resilience, discipline, and transformational leadership for women and emerging professionals across Africa. She recently authored a book, Mentorship in the Legal Profession, Institutionalizing Mentorship in the Legal Profession, a strategic blueprint for professional development. Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen Moremi of our time, black ebony beauty, graced in black and gold, I dare say that's her favorite color. With a resounding round of applause for every beautiful woman in this hall, and for every man who supports every beautiful woman in this hall. Can we give a resounding round of applause to Honorable Justice Mabel T. Shagun Bello?
Thank you, please. Can we have our seat, please? This is a big setup. How do you speak after the legendary Niyi Akisoya? How do you speak after it? Shouldn't we just be going home? This is a big setup. Please, permit me. I hope I'm able to step into his shoes. I was not here at the beginning and I regret it. It's painful. My slides were acting funny, so, you know, I had to stay home and try to fix it. And I hope that you can bring up my slides. But the little that I got, as he was speaking, I was just, you know, I was just typing them out. If I call him legendary, do you agree that is an understatement? You are awesome. Please, a round of applause for him. A round of applause. So when you're in court, usually there are certain circumstances that will necessitate lawyers doing what we call housekeeping. Housekeeping, right? Okay. So I'm going to do some kind of housekeeping now. And it will require that we move. Please, if there is a gap in front of you, an empty seat, move into it. Court order, move into it. Move into it. There is a space aside the first row, the red seat. If you have a space in front of you, please move into it. Second, if you have a space to your right, move into it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Quick, please. My time is going, oh. I'm looking at my timer. And I don't have enough, I don't have as much time as can I call you Dr. Niyi? I can confirm you an honorable doctorate. So permit me, Dr. Niyi. Please, if you also have to your left, move into it. If you're on this side. So I want us to be central. Aside those who are officiating and functional, can you move, everyone move to this side? Please, let's just occupy these three sides or 3 parts of the aisle. Thank you. Madam, are you officiating at the back? Okay, just move closer. Please, if you're not officiating, can you move away from there? My time is going, oh. I have a lot of remarkable things to tell you. Please, can we move? Oga, move. Auntie, do you know what they call court order? May you never violate court orders. All right, so my topic is not far from his topic, but it is different from his topic. And my topic is legal framework as the bridge for sustainable cross-industry collaboration. Legal framework for a sustainable cross-industry collaboration. Now, can we do a bit of concept clarification here and maybe definition of terms? So look at it. Bridge, you know it. What is legal framework? What do we understand by legal framework? Can anyone hazard a guess? Do we have a mobile microphone? Can anyone hazard a guess as to what is legal framework? Broadcasting lawyer.
I don't need to say anything.
I can see Dr. Ben. That's another legendary one. Please, Dr. Ben, rise for recognition. Please, 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 please. Awesome, awesome. My husband was his best man at his wedding. Yeah. All right. Can we go? Legal framework. Can you tell me? Who can tell me about it?
All right. Well, let me simplify it.
Awesome.
So it's like the foundation or the structure that governs something. So legal framework for an industry would be the body of laws or regulations that govern that institution. So that is why I'm sure it's called legal frameworks, because it could be a lot. It's not just a single concept. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. So legal framework is just generally the body of laws, rules, regulations that bind certain engagements in life. You know, when he was talking about relationships, he also mentioned that you need to have lawyers. Please, let's ignore the fact that he talked about knowing the judge, being a great lawyer and knowing the judge. Now, let's focus on having a lawyer. You know what it means to know the judge. Leave it there. But let's focus on knowing the lawyer. You know the lawyer not because you want to fight or because you want to win a conflict. You must know the lawyer so you don't ever enter into a conflict. You don't ever enter into a fight, and you don't ever get before a court. Do you get my point? Now, so across Nigeria and particularly all over the world, we have entered into a critical era, and the debates around structure, systems are getting louder by the day. That is, the talk about structure, the talk about systems, they are getting louder by the day. My next slides, please. Now, I am to talk about frameworks, legal frameworks that binds cross-industry collaboration. What then is cross-industry collaboration? Let me just define that quickly. Cross-industry collaboration means that two individuals, two enterprises, two organizations, two industries collaborating across industries. So you have fintech, isn't it? That is an industry. You have law, that is like an industry. You have architecture, that is like an industry. When Mr. Niyi was talking, he mentioned that Samsung built Burj Al Arab, isn't it? Now that is cross-industry collaboration. There's no way they would have done that without cross-industry collaboration. That is, Samsung is primarily and predominantly known for technology, isn't it? Now they are building, which means they are collaborating with another industry called engineering, isn't it? So that's what we mean by cross-industry collaboration. For cross-industry collaboration to be impactful, you need to, number one, build structures, and number two, you need to focus on legal frameworks. What I am concerned with today is legal framework. But for us to get the concept properly, for me to locate it well, we need to have a proper understanding of what structure is. I don't know if you talked about structure, but let me give a very crude and naive example of what structure is. When I was growing up, And I grew up in a home of 7 children. Mothers who are here, you know what it is to even handle only 2 children. Eh? Some of you are handling 3 children and you are sweating. My mother had 7. My father was a military officer, which means he was not always at home. It's either he's posted to Jaji, or he's posted to Kaduna, or he's in Lagos, or he's in Maiduguri. So that woman had to handle 7 children. And our ages was like in quick successions like that. So it's no, we don't have more than 1 year, 6 months gap. What does that mean? A lot of chaos in the room, in the house, isn't it? A lot of disorganization in the house. And a lot of chores in the house. I remembered something that my mother did. All over the walls in the house, you will find what she calls home timetable. Timetable. If you enter the kitchen, it's on the wall. It's on the, if you are going by the passage, it's right there on the wall. You enter the bathroom, it's right there on the wall. What is on this timetable? She delineated day by day and period by period the work for everybody. So you know who is washing plates. All the responsibilities are shared across board. You know who is washing plates. You know who is washing clothes. You know who is leading prayers. You know who is washing the car. You know who is cutting the grass. I remember vividly that my day of washing plates was Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. So if my mother ever enters the kitchen and it is in disarray, all she needs to do is to look at what? The timetable. And the person on that timetable is going to get a very heavy slap. You know what they call Igbajumogiri. I don't know how to describe that thing. It's in Yoruba. That is, when she slaps you, your face will hit the wall. All right? Now, that is a very crude and naive way of describing structure. So imagine that home is your business. So you will structure responsibilities across board. You will structure governance across board. You will structure power across board. Across the board of the whole spectrum of the business. That is a crude and naive way of describing structure. Now, what does structure do? Structure makes sure that responsibility are defined with clarity and that power does not become personal. Do you get my point? Now, I just reached a very critical point in structure: power. You know, they say money corrupts or something. I don't know how they say it. But power corrupts absolutely. If power is not well structured, power will bring down the whole organization, the whole business, the whole partnership that you have built. Power is not personal, only if it is located in a structure, in a paradigm of structure built. Let me also give you an example by illustrating it with this story. It happened when I was made the director of oaths in the FCT judiciary. I'm sure you know that I didn't start with being a judge. I didn't start at the Federal High Court. I started in this same FCT, in the FCT High Court here. I started as a magistrate 1, then I rose to becoming a senior magistrate, then I became a chief magistrate, and deputy chief registrar, director of oaths. And I have a lot of magistrates in the room. Can I see the hand? Yeah. Please, a round of applause for my magistrates. They are all around. Now, when I got to being the director, that's when I knew that I had hit a threshold called the legacy threshold. If you miss it, that's it in civil service. Because as a director in civil service, you're already level 17. If you don't build legacy, that's it. So my primary aim was to see how I can modernize court administrative processes by introducing digitalization. Because my background is also banking, I was a banker before I went into the judiciary. Because my background is corporate in nature, I knew how to import all those ideas into the civil service. Those are the people that we call intrapreneur. Because you can be an entrepreneur, you can also be an intrapreneur. So what did I do? I decided to do what we now call the cross-industry collaboration. I went for this construct or this contraption called PPP, Public-Private Partnership. Brought in technical partners, developed robust agreements and contracts with them, and we also developed, what we call the discipline mechanism, or either dispute resolution mechanism, and we put disciplinary measures in place. So we were having a meeting that I designed and called SIC meeting. SIC meeting at that time was Strategic Implementation Committee, comprising of, the heads of all the affidavit registry across FCT, from Abaji to Life Camp to Gwagwalada to Utako, Meitama, Asokoro, all the divisions of the FCT judiciary that had the affidavit registry management system in them. I called them to the meeting. I also gave the liberty to a few of my own core staff to be present in the meeting. So my LA, my PA, all of them, they were in the meeting. Mandatorily in attendance in that meeting were the technical partners. Remember, they are the outsiders, isn't it? So whatever we do there, they will leave with an impression. Either that the civil service is worth it, or the civil service is just a bunch of nincompoops sitting down. At that critical time, that was when one of my staff that I gave the privilege of being in the room decided to be insubordinate. She was not just insubordinate, she was grossly rude to me. In that room, there were deputy directors, there were assistant directors. This lady stood up and spoke brashly. Guess what I did? Nothing. Why? Because the power resides with me, isn't it? And she was extremely valuable to what we were pioneering. So I was wondering, I was conflicted. Should I deal with this girl? If I deal with her, when they say that the man on whose arm the king leaned, that was her. That was her. She had all the certification, Java certification, this one certification. She was sound. She was even more, she was doing her PhD. This lady was good. This lady was sound. But this lady did not understand what they call respect within a structured system. Because I leaned on her, the power resides with me. I decided to do nothing. After a while, she continued. I told her, okay, walk out. Maybe, female things, she may just be in that phase where, women, we can be cranky sometimes. If you know, you know. So, I just told her, I said, leave. Then come back when you are settled. Guess what she did? She opened the door and banged it. I turned to the deputy director. I told her in Yoruba, I said, Asasi Malele. That means, this is spiritual. Because how do you know somebody carries the power to break you and you still proceed against them like that? Guess what? I still did nothing. Until a few days later, I got a call around 7 a.m. Guess who was on the call? The chief judge. Yes, director, I heard that so and so happened when you were having, what's the name of that your meeting again? I said SIC meeting. So yes, you were having that SIC meeting and somebody did this and did that. I said, yes, sir. Yes, my lord. Yes, she did so. He said, so what did you do? I couldn't see him. He said, so what did you do, director? I said, nothing, sir. He said, 3 things. 1, I'm very disappointed in you. He said, 2, did you know that there were deputy directors in the room, assistant directors in the room? You just passed a message across to them that you're a weak leader. He said, 3, there were outsiders in the room. We had technical partners from the private sector sitting down and watching that abysmal behavior, and she went scot-free. He said, so what is your disciplinary mechanism? What did you put in place? I started reeling it out. I started reeling it out in layers. He said, don't forget, I'm the one who drafted it. He said, so which one did you activate against her? I said, none. He said, oh, I start activating now. First, by what we layered, you must give a query. 2, you will refer the person to the administrative board where they will empanel the person for gross misconduct and arbitrary behavior. After that, you will refer her to the finance department where they will suspend the salary pending the outcome of that panel. I didn't want all of that against her. I loved her genuinely. I didn't want all that against her, but I had to activate according to the code that we have put in place. Do you now see that power must not be personal? After I left, the kind of order, thank you, if you want to clap, please clap. The kind of order after that moment, the kind of order that was in place was unbelievable. Everybody behaved themselves. You could visibly see it. It was palpable. Everybody behaved themselves, especially when they suspended salary. You know what salary is to civil servants. So you see, power must never be personal, and that is a function of structure. However, with all the structure and how critical structure is, if you can be changing this, please be changing it, because I've gone like 7 or 8 slides ahead of you. Now, as critical as structure is, structure will collapse under pressure without legal frameworks. Structure will collapse under pressure where there is no legal frameworks, especially when the myself. AI may generate the logos for me upon prompt. And even if you don't know how to prompt well, you won't even get it. You need to be a prompt engineer to get it correct. That's an expertise that I had to learn, being a prompt engineer. And that's what we call cross-functional competencies. In this world, you will not be relevant if you don't have it. There are so many things that makes you to be disrupted quickly in life. So you will get to the top echelon of life, you will not be able to pioneer anything, innovate, or be creative. Why? Because you have not developed the necessary expertise that can mark you out for distinction in your generation. At the present, I think I paid $200 for an online course on, the course was also about being a prompt engineer, but it was also about being an effective, having effective deployment of Canva. How many of you know Canva? Awesome. How many of you can use it dexterously? With dexterity. How many of you can? I had to pay $200 online to go through that. It's called cross-functional competencies. Anyone who wants to be relevant in their generation. Thank you, Coach Obafemi. All right? I'm correct? Yes. That's the first person that illuminated my mind to cross-functional competencies. Please, a round of applause for him. Anyone who wants to be relevant, you can't stay within the domain of your industry. It's forbidden, not in this time anymore. Not in this generation, not in this era. You're a lawyer, all you know is law. Are you joking? You're a doctor, all you know is medicine. Are you joking? There's telemedicine now. I hope you know that. We don't even have to go to the hospital anymore. Technology partners with everything. Technology collaborates with everything. Now, we have talked about how critical collaboration is. But let me tell you, there's a risk and a pitfall with collaboration. I've seen it in courts. Collaboration cannot be sustained by enthusiasm and trust alone. So when you want to collaborate across industries, maybe you're a tailor. My tailor is here. No, they don't call you tailor, they call you fashion designer. You better go and learn how to collaborate with another industry to increase your income. Things are hard. Things are hard. We are not scaling. We are not doing this. You have not really ventured into cross-industry collaboration. That's why things are hard. Sit down, think. All you need to do is, who are the people that shared common goals with me and common values? You know, he talked about values. Who are the people that are driven by the kind of values that I have, who have common goals, and who have complementary skills across board? When you are doing that collaboration, please, enthusiasm is not enough. Neither is trust. I trust him, I trust him. Thank you. I have seen it happen so many times in court. Some years back, I think I wasn't even a judge then, maybe a magistrate, a sitting magistrate. We had in court 2 partners, and in my honest opinion, these are wonderful people. In my own honest opinion, these appear to be 2 wonderful human beings, 2 wonderful Christians, in my honest opinion. But they were fighting tooth and nail. It was so contentious that I had to do what they call case stated to the High Court. I didn't transfer it to, but most of the issues that were arising, I needed clarification. I couldn't get clarification at my level. In law, we call, in the judiciary, there's something we call case stated. You devise that particular case. You would craft that contraption and you will state it upward. Am I wrong? Magistrates? Magistrates, you are here now. You are looking at me like this. Am I not correct? Haven't you ever done case stated before? Oh, you have not. You've not seen very sophisticated cases. That you will take it this way, you can. You will take it this way, it will not go. You will take it backward for where? You will take it forward. The next thing is to just do a case stated. The only way to remove yourself from that thing, do a case stated and take it to the High Court. Let them go and deal with it upstairs. I had to do. That was what I eventually do. What I eventually did. I did a case stated. That's what it's called, to the High Court, and removed myself from that contraption. They were fighting in an unbelievable manner. The objections were replete. Why? One contributed land. That's the industry where real estate. That's his own industry. Mr. B, don't smile. The other one brought in capital. He was in the finance industry. And they structured everything. They had all their hierarchy, their hierarchical layout, everything, who is going to be responsible for what. They even had succession plans. How more structured could they be? They were thinking ahead. They were well structured. Suddenly, revenue began to grow. And their dispute also began to grow. When the dispute began to grow, that's when they landed in the courtroom. But where should they have been first? In the lawyer's room. They should have first sat down and delineate things according to set rules, regulations, standards, laws at first, and layer it into every level of the structure that they built. I hope you know that when I'm talking about legal frameworks, I'm saying for every structure you build, layer legal frameworks into it. That's the only way to take care of the future. Layer legal frameworks into it. Every level. Anticipate all manner of evil that can happen. Anticipate the demon in men and the men in demons. You will say I'm saying that a lot. I've been dealt with, isn't it? When people think they can, because you're a judge, they can just mess you up and do reputational damage for you. They dealt with me, but I dealt with them. I dealt with them. And anyone else who will do it, I'm not part of those judges who will say, I'm not even part of those people who will say, we'll leave it to God. You fight me, I break you. You come after me, I pull you down. It's as simple as that. Because what you are fighting is not tangible. What you are fighting is an intangible capital that we have spent years to assiduously build. You don't build integrity one day. You don't build dignity in 1 year. These are intrinsic values that you build over the years. And in 1 day, through a wrong perception thrown into the atmosphere, the whole ecosystem begins to see you as undignified. Say it, it will never happen. Now is the time to protect dignity and integrity the most. In any event, legal frameworks is one of them. Layer legal frameworks into everything that you are doing. These people, what was deficient in their relationship was legal framework. And when I had the opportunity of speaking with their lawyer, that why these people, they appear to be, they shouldn't be fighting like this. What the lawyer told me is that, they trusted each other too much. That was their problem. And because they were very enthusiastic about the business, they forgot the rudiments of legal frameworks. Collaboration. Don't be too enthusiastic about it. It does not run on enthusiasm. It does not run on trust. It runs on 2 pillars. What are these 2 pillars? Now they bring them. Okay, thank you. What are the 2 pillars? We've talked about one, structure factor, and the second one, legal framework factors. Those are the two pillars any collaboration you're going to be doing must have. Do you get my point? Please say, I get your point. Now, I don't even know what page I am, but please permit me to just get where I am. Otherwise, I'll just go on. Please go to the slide called fuel analogy. So you can see, no matter how structured an enterprise is, without legal framework layered into every fiber of your structure, it will not work. Structure makes collaboration stand. Legal framework makes collaboration stay. Did you get that? Structure makes the collaboration stand, but legal framework will make for its continuity and longevity. Do you get the point? Now, what is the fuel analogy? Permit me to make a simple analogy. Structure is the vehicle, right? Legal framework is the what? Fuel. You may have the most beautifully designed vehicle on earth. Without the fuel, will it move? And more importantly, it won't even endure the journey if you don't have sufficient fuel. So it's not just having fuel, it must be sufficient. There's a story I wanted to tell you, but I think I'll just leave it for maybe when we're having the fire chats. Yeah. Okay. So let me go straight to the conclusion. Structure organizes activity. Legal framework protect continuity. Structure will organize all your activity in your enterprise, but it is legal framework that will make for continuity. And with all your legal frameworks, all your structure being built, remember something that Dr. Nii said. He said, let me try and get him precisely. He said there is a level or there's a threshold in business that you get to. It can only be sponsored by the spiritual. Spiritual anything. Spiritual in the demonic realm, spiritual in the godly realm, spiritual anything. Because if you are not using something, somebody is using something on you. Spiritual is your advantage. And I mean spiritual anything. It does not matter the religious persuasion. So I'm not speaking to only people of my religious persuasion. In fact, it is people of my religious persuasion that have the lowest level of spiritual intelligence. It's people of my religious persuasion. The other religious persuasions, they understand it better. They understand it better. Let me round up with this story. Can help me get my things now. To accentuate this particular point that he made, and I'm trying to emphasize. In 2022, that was when I became a judge, actually. Yeah, 2022. Abi, magistrate. Thank you. That was when I became a judge. So I was very naive, isn't it? If you bully me, I will run. If you speak about me, I will cry. I was new, right? It was a new terrain. Until you become a judge, you will know that being a magistrate is a kid's play. And I'm not de-emphasizing, please pardon me. You understand what I'm talking about. It's just that the stakes are so high. They are so high. A few days ago, I think it was on Monday, I was in court, and I was already in chambers after sitting. And there was like a mistake or something. And my registrar said, maybe I should just tear the order. I said, tear what? As we were giving the order inside court, the parties that have that the order is against, they already know. He said, I said, yes. Do you know those people that are in the gallery? Do you know who they are? Don't tear anything, no. leave it there. Even if it's a mistake, leave it there. Record, very critical. Stakes are very high. So I was just made a judge. And my senior, at that time, my court one, God bless his soul, he's now late, gave an order. And that order reverberated all over the southeastern region. Men were almost killing themselves. They were tearing. You know that apologies to the Igbos. Those people are very, very combative. Oh, well, no, don't let me say combative. They are very, they are lovely. Use that lovely. Don't ever put combative. Erase it. Because I love them, actually. And I saw that this thing is going to get very combustive. So I decided to quickly call my staff. Oh yeah, everybody come. Let's quickly sit before it's 12 o'clock and run out of court. We were joking. Before 12 noon, there was a big parade. By being the only judge on ground at that time, I could actually do it. But I told you I was new. So everything scared me. I packed up my things. I packed up everything. I just went to Enugu straight, boarded a flight, and straight I landed in Abuja. As I was landing in Abuja, as I opened my phone like this, hey, messages. My face was all over, everywhere. Everywhere. It was everywhere. That was on a Friday. By Sunday, I usually go to a church in the evenings. As I was in that church in the evening, they launched it again. So, you know, people were in the church, they were looking at their phone, they were looking at me. See the person raising up holy hands. So now, so should they do? What did they write? They wrote that she should beware. Let Honorable Justice Mabel beware. We now know that she sleeps in the hotel of the governor at that time. That's not the governor now. Of the hotel of the governor. I'm no more in that state. I've been moved out of that state. That I was sleeping in the hotel of the governor and that I was flying around in private jet. How many of you saw that thing? Some of you saw it. Private jet of the governor. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. And the person who did that put his name Gadagba there. So that, you know, when you put your name, it authenticates the story. Isn't it? It authenticated the story. Put his name, put his designation. I'm telling you, the spiritual is your advantage. Because at that time, my hands didn't know how to fight. And my hands didn't know how to war, and my fingers how to fight. The only way I could do it was to go spiritual. Imagine what I just told you now. Flying around in private jets. At that time, I had not entered private jet too. And I was sleeping in a hotel that I don't even know existed. So, I took it before God in prayers. Every midnight. Every midnight. I gathered all the scriptures that were necessary, because if you are entering into the spiritual, you don't go with your words. You go with the words of a deity. I gathered all the words of a deity necessary for my prevailing, and I travailed. Well, 1 year passed. Nothing happened. I know 1 year is enough for people to forget. But I didn't forget. I didn't forget. You know why? Because it would do something to the mind of your spouse. This one that they are saying that you are flying around with a governor. I thought you were in the States to work. Which one are you sleeping inside there? How do you explain it? Reputational damage par excellence. You also know why I didn't forget it? My daughter is extremely proud of me, my last daughter, the baby of the house. She's in boarding house. So whenever they go into their computer room, the first thing is to jump on the computer and Google her mommy's name. And everything will come out, and everybody will like, hey, your mommy. Kai, is this your mommy? Ah, your mommy. She's even beautiful. Eh? So your mommy did this. Ah, she pioneered, what do they call this thing? Affidavit. Ah, that day, when she jumped on it, I said, come and see my mommy, come and see my mommy. What do you think came out? Private jet, sleeping around him. They were like, what? Your mommy? How do you think I'm going to forget that? You are joking. I travailed in prayers continuously. 1 year passed and nothing happened. One day, I think it was like 14 months after, they brought an application before my court. It was for the enforcement of fundamental rights, fundamental human rights. Someone was locked up in jail, and the person had been locked up in jail for about 6 to 8 months. Are you doing your computation? 1 whole year, nothing happened. 14 months later, they brought an application before my court for the enforcement of someone's fundamental right who had been locked up in prison for about 8 months. The person had become sick and was urinating blood. So it became a critical situation. Remove 8 months from this time I started praying. So I said, look, I don't sit in appellate jurisdiction over the order of a magistrate court. If a magistrate gave the order, take it to the state high court. I am a federal judge. I don't deal in matters. I said, no, it is because it is a government agency that locked him. I said, okay, let me look. I said, I will still not take this thing. I will still not take it. But when I looked at the name of the person that was locked up and is now sick, has been locked up for 8 months. Guess whose name it was? The person who did that thing. What do you think I did? I said, go and bring him. Go and bring him. Go and bring him. They were very happy. They were like, thank God. She's going to take this. I said, go and bring him before me. How fast can you do it? They said, quickly. We will go and bring him. I signed what we call notice to produce, isn't it? Notice to produce. Oh, yeah. No, it's not notice to produce. Production warrant. God bless you. Thank God for having colleagues in the room. I signed production warrant. Go and produce this person from the prison. They brought the guy. You can see that he was sick. Because from that time, and now that I see him, I still saw him on Tuesday. If I look at that time, he was really sick. They brought him looking so weak. Usually when they bring accused persons before me and they are looking weak, my doc has a chair. I deliberately put it there. Because nobody is guilty until they are proven guilty, isn't it? So they must be treated with kindness and humanity, even though they are accused individuals. So I told him, sit down. Me, that I know what he did to me. I opened my phone. Where's the phone? I opened it. I said, I want to hear this application. But before I hear it, I want to know whether or not you have confidence in me to hear it. And the lawyer was like, no, we have confidence. The man was like, I have confidence. I said, wait till you see what I want to show you. I told my registrar, pass it to him. That's a publication made 14 months ago of a judge that was flying around in private jet, that was sleeping around in the hotel of a governor. He said, yes. I said, who made it? He said, I did it. It's me. Confidently. I said, do you know that Honorable Justice Mabel? Like an epiphany. It just dawned on him that it was before her. He quickly stood up. I said, do you know that judge? He was just looking. Do you know that judge? So I said, please, my Lord, please. I said, before I hear this application, I want to tell you the effect of this thing you did. I said, you guys launched it when I was in church. Church members were looking at me and they were looking at what you did. Whether you like it or not, it will do something to the minds of your spouse. I said, my children also read it. I said, now that you have the full implication and the full purport of what you did, now let me tell you something. When you people do these things, you have no idea what people are doing in the spiritual. You have no idea. you will suddenly find repercussions you don't even know where they are coming from. Because it's not everybody that is dead in the spirit. People have life in the spirit. They understand how the spiritual work. They know in whom they believe, and they know the exploits they can do. Now my time is up. But guess what I did? I simply just said, sit down back, you're weak. Give me the bail form, because I always have templates. I operate by templates. You know I'm coming from the bank. So I don't write long and I operate by templates. I said, give me the bail template. They gave me the bail template. I just canceled it like this. And I said, I hereby grant you bail in self-recognizance. Don't even bring any shorty. Because when you say they should go and bring shorty, that's when they will now take them back to jail. They'll spend another 3 or 4 days before they can even perfect the condition. No condition. Just self-recognizance. Because you're a well-known person in that environment. No conditions at all. Just self-recognizance. Go and sin no more. He just fell down. Bam! I said, I didn't touch you. Oh. I did not touch you. Everybody can see it. I didn't touch him. He fell down, bam, on the floor. He said, oh, now I know my error. I can see my error. I did error. I said, you didn't do error. You don't worry. Just stand up. Let them take him. I said, so I know the police must have collected something from you. What did they collect in terms of, when you're going into prison, all your possessions so that you don't harm yourself? He said they took my belt, they took my phone, and they took my car. I made an order. Everything to be returned back to him. Everything returned back to him. I said, go and sin no more. Today, that guy is one of my ardent supporters. You can't come against me if that guy sees it online. You are in trouble. You are in trouble. He will militate against you. Recently, someone still came against me. He traveled all the way from the east to come and combat them here in Abuja. This is how to turn demons in men to angels in men. And on that note, may we never meet demons in men and men in demons. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Please let the round of applause continue. Let it continue. Let it continue. Let it continue, please. The Honorable Justice Mabel. Please, you can take your seat. Thank you very, very much. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we had 2 very, very exceptional speakers today. Have you learned anything? I'm going to ask again, have you learned anything? From the soul inspirational presentation of Prince Nee, I'm staying away from doctor, of Prince Nee, to the awe-inspiring presentation of Justice Mabel. Please give our speakers a round of applause. And this is what the Convergence Africa is known for, bringing people together, networking. The thought process will continue. I know the conversations will continue, and people will still talk about this as we go forward. Well, I think we've been sitting down for too long now. Everybody stretch. You want to stretch, spread your legs and all of that. The DJ forgive and belay. Hey, hold on. So I want to invite, that's the gift of movement. You're moving, you're working, and the rest of it. But then I would like to invite Crumb Studios to come and lead us in that aspect. So it's going to be a dance session, and I will expect everybody, as she leads it, for everybody to join. Please. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So I wasn't supposed to come up now, and I wouldn't say much now. This is not the dance segment. This is more for your mind and your spirit. I'll meet you later, and I'll be happy to share some more on that light. I might need some help, though, with this. The podium needs to be moved by the other side. We're about to stir up. I think the word was power, energy, spirit in the room. But don't worry, you can take your seats. Please, may I help with the podium? We might need the wires moved to the right. Thank you very much. This segment is actually for my team, not me, so I'll be back soon. Enjoy.
I know you failed, but get up. I know it hurts, but get up. One of the things you are going to have to do is get the image of failure out of your head. Because you're seeing this thing all wrong. And this is why you can't have your future, because you keep meditating on the mess up. Stop meditating on the mess up and see yourself walking in the mastery of this thing. Listen to me. If you want your future, get up now. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. I know you're bleeding, but get up. I know it hurt, but get up. I know you disappointed people that believed in you, but get up and try again. Try again. Try again. Right where you are, I want you to see it differently. Know this, that your process may be messy, but your mess will become your message.
Broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. You can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Mountains, we gon' walk it out. Silence is in quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Bring it to its feet. Again. we had each other. Yeah. Rise up, rise like the day, rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves that rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 ways.
This also is a dynamic polymath whose influence spans law, business, education, and human capital development, driving measurable transformation across people and enterprises. She is the lead partner at Simplex Logical, a forward-thinking legal platform providing accessible, practical solutions for African MSMEs and corporations. She is also the founder of the CEO's Portal Limited, a growth ecosystem empowering visionary leaders through mentorship, strategic positioning, and global opportunities. With over 2 decades of impact, she has facilitated the economic advancement of more than 9,000 individuals, helping them monetize relationships and achieve financial independence. Her work blends strategy, teaching, consulting, and advisory, anchored in real-world execution. As a global synergist, she operates at the intersection of leadership, enterprise growth, and generational impact, bridging gaps in structure, mentorship, and community for entrepreneurs. She is the convener of the Convergence Africa Summit, a high-impact platform fostering meaningful connections and actionable insights for founders. A firm advocate for collaboration over competition and legacy over short-term success, she inspires professionals to build enduring institutions and lead with purpose. Miss Ursula Esquire represents a powerful fusion of vision, excellence, and synergy, transforming potential into lasting legacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the convener.
Oh my God, thank you very much. So my mentor just got me laughing. He told me something. Please, you may take your seat. Thank you very much. To God be the glory. I will always start this way. Let me kindly request for the podium, please. Thank you. And my slides as well. Thank you everyone for being here. I do not have the liberty of saying thank you. I have capable and able board members in the house, and they will do justice to the appreciation after this moment. But let me say thank you to my father and mother. They were here last year and they're here again. Please, a round of applause to them. And I want to say thank you to every one of you who is here. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Oh, all right. Okay. I think I'm blocking this slide, but it's fine, right? So, I'll be discussing about the theme of this summit. Transgenerational connection, architecting capital, generational capital across industries. You heard the keynote speaker. He did justice to this conversation. And Justice Mabel increased the fire, correct? So I was just telling him that, okay, now that all of you are finished training, what will I come and teach again? And he said, just go and do what you have to do. And that's what I will do this afternoon. So let's go to the next slide, please. If you, you just all, most of you have just met me today, maybe for the first time, or we've not even met. But I'd love you to know me. And for you to really know a little piece about me, I'd encourage you to follow me on my Instagram page. One thing I know for sure is that I am here to impact, inspire, and influence, not to impress. So if you're wondering, why is she doing this? It's been said that, oh, you have to be on the table. You should be on the table. And sometimes you cannot even get a space on the table. So what should you do? What should you do? Create one, right? And that's what we're doing today. And so this is to encourage anyone here. If there's anything you've been hoping, planning, procrastinating because you just feel, oh, it's not perfect, it's not complete. Oh, if I host the event and the whole hall is empty, what will I do? What won't you do? Just what? Do it. So I'd love to connect with all of you. I'd love to meet you, and I hope you follow me on my Instagram page. Now, the theme, transgenerational connection, architecting generational capital across industries. The first question I will ask, which is a build-up on my activation speech earlier, is, are you building a scalable system or one that depends on you? Are you building a Zenith level system or jealousy must be present operation? Now, on 5th of May, Jimovia retired, right? Remember, he is the founder of Zenith Bank. He retired. Not just that, after he retired, for those who have Zenith Bank shares, I'm sure you got dividends yesterday. Correct? Yes. So despite the fact that he has stepped down, nothing changed. Nothing stopped. The business is still going on. So the lesson one I want every one of us to take down today is that system is greater than individuals. That's lesson one. System is greater than an individual. So ask yourself, what you're building at the moment, is it just knitted around you alone, or it's something that will go beyond you? Let me say this, that, you know, the only reason he could step down without agitation, without refusal, without, in fact, if not for the news, most people wouldn't even know that he had stepped down or retired, right? It's because they have system in place. And so their tenure is subject to corporate governance. It's as simple as that. Now, you will say, but my business is still small now. I'm just upcoming. But you know that the best thing to do is to get it right from the beginning. Get it right from the beginning. If it's system, if it's collaboration that you need, if it's strategy, if it's system, if it's structure, whatever it is, don't wait until the business is big. Then you're not trying to, rescue yourself. From the inception. What should we do? Get it right. And the best way to get it right is our mindset about what you're building. Are you building for survival or for succession? That will determine the kind of foundation you will lay right now, regardless of whether that idea is still very small, is still very little, or upcoming. And like I said, we see his successor, Mustafa Bello, just took over with ease. And because they have system, structure, everything in place, you know, it was just easy for them to take over and proceed. Now let's talk about my next slide. Oh, before I go ahead, let me say this. If we are to rate Jim Movia, are we going to rate him yes or no when it comes to legacy? What would be the answer? Is he still holding on to the business like he must be the center stage? So those are the questions we should ask ourselves. Don't build a business that everything revolves around you. If you sneeze, salary will be delayed, you know, nothing will go on. Customers will suffer, supply, production, everything will just pause. No, please. If you're doing that, then we're just still building for survival. And it's okay. But after today, can we do something different? Can we do something better? The Almighty's architecture. You know, God is so powerful. My mentor spoke about the spiritual, right? And this Almighty God did something amazing. Did God have to step down to make you walk this morning? Did he? Did you have to call the power of God to be able to raise your hands and do anything today? Please, let's interact. Yes or no? Why? He built systems in us that automate everything that needs to work. That's God himself. So it is right to say that God, you know, started business even from his creature, the human being. And if you look at everything he created, they created to recreate naturally. He created everything to be able to self-renew itself. Created everything to be able to be self-sufficient. Look at the trees. It's so easy for the tree to reproduce, and there's something he did uniquely, and that is seed. Seed. And that is the second lesson I want us to take home today. That every seed carries the code to replicate itself. Every seed carries the what? The code to replicate itself. Just imagine anything. And let me give credit to a friend of mine whose post inspired this particular slide of mine, and that person is Car Truth Podcast. Please, a round of applause for him. He posted that on his Facebook page. Thank you very much. He posted that on his Facebook page, and I read it, and I was like, that is my slide. Did you peep in? I think that post was on Thursday, 30th April 2026. So you might want to go take a look at it and then, you know, pick a few lessons about this particular post. Thank you so much, Mr. Idris, for coming in. And Honorable Mukhtar, thank you for making this happen. Please, a round of applause for you. In case you don't, like, I'm happy to have you here, sir. Thank you. So what I want us to know is that generational capitals, right, require sustainable system. The keynote speaker spoke about it when he talked about sustainability, that there's nothing you will build, there's nothing you want to create, that if you want people to collaborate with you, they must see that there's something sustainable, right? But the problem is most of us, we're building stuff that people cannot even invest in. People cannot even put their money on it. They just say, no, this one, there's no system, there's no structure, so I'm not part of it. So we need to ask ourselves, what am I building? What am I doing differently? Let's go to the next slide, which is the framework. I mean, we already spoke about framework. Justice Mabel did justice to the framework conversation. But I just want us to know certain things. That generational capital is more than money. You know, the biggest thing we think is, oh, if I don't have money, I can't go to the next level. Can I tell you, to put this whole event together, did I have the whole money stuck or stacked in a place? The answer is no. But I told myself, I believe in this message. And the message is, we have to quit solo struggle and adopt and start, you know, strategic partnerships for us to be able to scale. Because whether we like it or not, the economy is not super friendly. And the little capital you have will be gulfed by challenges in the businesses you're building. So how do you take it to the next level? We need to understand the first thing to do what is intentional architecture. It's not luck. It was said over and over that most businesses in Nigeria, you know, 80% even dies before 5 years. How much more generational businesses? I want you to pause for a moment and think of one business that existed while you were a child. That was very big, awesome, massive, that is no more in existence today. What do you think happened? The succession plan was not in place. And the keynote speaker was very apt when he said there are massive businesses like Nokia that he mentioned. Nokia had all the money, but where is Nokia today? So when we're thinking about money, money is the least. The next we need to think about in changing our mindset is cross-industry exposures. Create anti-fragile capital ecosystem. If you are in solid partnership with other businesses, what that will do for you is to expand your reach. It opens an avenue to the next market. See it this way. Imagine that the business you have today, imagine 5 of your kind owning that same business. What do you think will happen? Can I hear an answer? Please, I need a mic. We need to interact. What do you think will happen? Will it be where it is right now? Will it? Definitely not. And so that's what we need to start thinking as SMEs, as MSMEs. You need to start imagining what you need to do to be able to attract powerful people like yourself, to be able to expand and upscale your business. Very important. The third point is a unifying origin narrative is the bridge between what industries and generations. So, if there is no nexus, if there is no connection, if you're just building something and then you just feel, oh, because what I'm doing is good enough, it might not be good enough to bring other people together. So you want to create the nexus. How do you connect? What are the impacts the other person will get? What are the mutual benefits you will share for everybody to come together? Very, very important. And last is future-proofing demands. A next-gen mindset that blends legacy with reinvention. Now, most of us were complaining, the Gen Zs, the next generations, their attention span is low and all of that and all of that. The question is, what do you have in place that can persuade them to understand what you're building, to be able to take it to the next level? Do you have anything tangible that they can hold on to? The answer is no. So you must be able to, enter the mind of the next person you want to collaborate with. You must be able to enter the mind of that individual. What can you give to them for them to be able to accept and listen to what you have to offer? Lesson here is, reach is financial. Dynasty is architectural. Reach is financial. Dynasty is what? Architectural. I met someone earlier today and he said he's an architect, and I said, oh, great. So you imagine what For you to bring everything together, it requires what? Design. You have to create it. You have to build it. You have to mold it. You have to connect it and do whatever. So whatever it needs, whatever is required is what we should be doing as CEOs and founders. Now, I've been talking about connection, collaborate, and all of that. So how can we do this? That will be my next conversation, which is the 5 interconnected capitals. There are 5 interconnected capitals that we can leverage on. The first is human. The second is intellectual. Third is social. Fourth is cultural and legacy. Fifth is financial. My slide, please. The 5 interconnected capitals. So you're here, you have a business. We're talking real terms now. How can you take it to the next level, right? These are the 5 points I've highlighted that if we plug into it carefully and deliberately, you can upscale your business. The first I said was human, about talent and character. People's talent, people's character. You heard it when the keynote speaker said the only reason he's here is because of what? Relationship. And because he can vouch on my integrity. He understands the spirit behind what I'm doing. He understands that this can help many generations. And I keep saying it, that see, even if it's just one business that we're able to take from A to Z, I'm okay. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. So it doesn't have to be a lot of businesses. The second is what? Intellectual. Which is where you need other people. You know, I deliberately pick industries every year. So it's not coincidence. It's something I sit down to think about it. Law, real estate, finance, information technology, and fashion. If we're deliberate, you will see the intellectual properties that you need from every of these industries that can take your business to the next level. So while you sit here, while you connect with people, don't just connect because you want to connect. Don't just connect because you want to collect number. Think, do you need them for intellectual properties? Is there something they can add to your business intellectually to take you to the next level? And then the third is social, your network and reputation. Let me just say this. The people that know you are more important than the people you know. The people that know you, they're more important than the people you know. We connect, right? See, the biggest mistake you will make is to meet a great person, and then the next thing you're asking for is their number. You should be able to say something that will compel them to ask for your number. I can have your number and will not pick your call. So, we must be able to understand that our network is very important. See, most people that know me, they know I'm big on this. A lot of people that I know, a lot of things that I do is not by my own ability. Let me say it, and let me use this medium to say thank you. The keynote speaker, like he rightly said, he came to Abuja, flew business class, did everything. I did not pay kobo. I did not even buy his ticket. He bought it himself. Please, a round of applause for him. That's not all. Our Honorable Justice Mabel flew into Abuja from Enugu yesterday at her own expense. I did not buy her flight ticket. In fact, when I was talking honorarium, she said, my friend, will you move away here? But please, don't think it's just by accident. Am I correct, ma? Network. The people that know you, they're more important than the people you know. Do you know that some people you will call, once they see your call, they said, problem has come, I'm not picking. But imagine that they're the one beckoning on you because you have value, because you have something to give. The next is cultural and legacy. They've spoken a lot about core values. They've spoken about our purpose. But I just want to tell you practically myself, my core value, which I have integrated into my businesses, is with an acronym called CLEAR. C-L-E-R-R. C, confidentiality. L, love for God and love for man. E, excellence. R, resilience. R, results. So if anything you invite me to do or anything you ask me to do is not within these core values, you won't find me there. You won't find me. I will nicely tell you I'm not available. So the question is, what are our core values? What are the things that we've written down, we've penned down, that can go to the next and next generation, that they can read it and say, oh yes, you're on point. I've talked about the last one, financial. Financial is the least. Let's not focus on it. These are quantifiable assets in terms of cash, equity, properties. The result of a strong governance and the other four is capital. So if you don't have these first four well, your last will suffer. Do we agree? If you don't have human talent personally yourself, if you don't have people adding intellectual values to you, if you don't have great networks, if you don't have core values, you can see that money will not come. So we all say, oh, Nigeria is hard, Nigeria is hard. I'm telling you, people of God, money is moving in this country like never before. But it's flowing in certain directions. So the question you now ask is, please, how do I plug myself into that direction? So the next lesson I want to give us here in respect of this slide is, we might want to write that down. Financial capital is the fruit or the result. The tree's health depends on the strong root, which is human. Sturdy trunk, which is intellectual, and far-reaching branches, which is social. So for you to get finances, you must have a solid root deep, deep down. That is human being. Justice Mabel spoke about people that will take bullets for her right now before it gets to her, right? So the question is, who do you have defending and protecting you? Very important. Now let's go to the industry nexus model. I want to use Nigeria as a practical case, and I mean we're here. Because like I tell people, when I host my programs, I don't like theories. Because we all go to summit and we take long notes that we'll go back home and not even read. Not to even talk of implementing. So as I'm talking, the only thing you should be noting down is the things you stop doing, the things you start doing, and the things you plan to do subsequently. Very important. So I think it was Justice Mabel or the keynote speaker that spoke about starting your business. Oh yeah, the keynote speaker. When he said that most of the businesses that makes you a billionaire is not the first one you started. Do you remember that point? He mentioned it, right? So it means you have to start somewhere. And this is the practical example I want to give us. I don't know what industry you play in right now, but I want you to look at a situation where you start from energy, and then you move into finance, and then you go to infrastructure. And I'll give us a practical example. I'm sure we all know the Heirs Holding Group, right? The Heirs Holding Group. Now, they started on what? Energies. Then they secured finance for a landmark oil field acquisition, which is OML 17. Now, it's not just an oil asset, but a strategic national what? Resource. Now, that put together was able to give them the ability to buy into UBA. Can we see the transition? So, wherever you are right now is not the problem. The question is, have you planned your transition from where you are to the next one? You're a lawyer, amazing. What next? You're a fashion designer, You can even sculpture heavenly hosts in a human being. What next? That's the question. Then let's look at commodity into manufacturing and logistics. I'm sure a perfect example comes to mind. Who can guess? Dangote, exactly. Dangote moved from what? Commodity into manufacturing, and now logistics. I mean, see what he's doing now in the oil and gas industry. So we need to be able to think of how to what? Move. Not just moving, we also need to be able to think what are the great collaborations we can have. So it's possible you are at commodity, but you find yourself in what? How to partner with someone in manufacturing, or how to be an investor in the manufacturing, so that the day the product you are selling that you think is number one in the world stops being number one, you have something to fall back to. I don't know anything about technology, sincerely. I'm just learning now. But do you know that I have shares in an infotech company? And I only got that shares based on my skill as a lawyer. They came, oh, Patience, we need your services as a lawyer. I said, oh, good. This is my bill. And I said, Amma, we don't have this money to pay you, but we want to offer you shares in the company in exchange for your services. So imagine when that company becomes Money Point, becomes Flutterways, becomes... So we need to be strategic with the skills that we have, with our talent, with our knowledge and everything. Don't just think, I have arrived. Finally, breath of fresh air. Thank you. Then let's look at telecoms. Into media and tech. This is the, I think, oil well right now. This area. People are playing crazy in this area. And of course, we have a practical example in Nigeria. Anyone? Anyone that comes to mind? Huh? Mike Adenuga. I'm bringing practical examples so we can understand that this is we're talking about is already working in Nigeria. It's been working. And so the best thing you can do for yourself is don't wait till you reach that plateau that you don't know what to do next before you start looking for what to do. From this moment, plan your strategy. Where next am I going? Based on what people are doing that have succeeded. You don't have to copy wholly, but you can pick ideas and then reinvent your own and then take it to the next level. Mike Adenuga started, of course, in the telecoms, Globalcom, right? And then they got major stakes in the oil marketing industry, corn oil, just in case you don't know. And of course, they have shares in First Bank and the construction company Julius Berger. Yeah. So, can we see that it's possible? So I'm looking forward to see a fashion industry that will create something like this. And when we come for our 5th, summit, you can tell us that, yes, from today, this is what I picked, this is what I did, this is where we are. As a fashion brand, you can produce outfits for all the industries we've mentioned, right? So how can you plug yourself into it? You can even say, you know what, let's say lawyers, I can be supplying your suit. By the way, my mentor said his suit was made in Nigeria by a Nigerian, right? Yes, he told me this morning. So imagine you say, oh, I'll be supplying all the suits for all your lawyers in your law firm. Just be giving me my legal service at a discounted fee, or, like Honorable Justice Mabel said, you better get a lawyer before you need one. Because if you don't, the day you need one, that is the day you pay a great penalty that you will not even have. And the only alternative or option open to you is to crash. So get a lawyer before you need one. Very important. Let's go to strategic partnership. Bringing the whole message home now. Yeah, strategic partnerships. Now, there are 3 major ones I'm talking about. For those of us who were here last year, you remember I spoke about some of the strategic partnerships, right? And then this year, I just want us to look at what can we do in these areas that I have mentioned. Global or technical partners that you need, start listing them down. The next is government and development or finance partners that you need, start listing them down. The next is what? Strategic co-investment vehicles. List them down and start activating the conversations around it. Very, very important. I'm not going to dwell so much about this because that's what I do. So come and we'll help you strategize on how to pick all of these partnerships that you need. Let me go to my second to the last slide, which is positioning pathways. This is a guide to all of us. In all of this that we've said, time is of essence. Because you can have the right thing at the wrong time. And you can be late for a thing. So we need to understand at what time should I plug into certain opportunities, at what time should I do this. Even while you're building transgenerational businesses, at what time should you start dragging your children to learn what you're doing if truly you want your business to move to the next level? It's very important. At what stage should you send your children? And a typical example that I can give is Dangote's children. Did you see every of these phases, they pass through this level before they are now back to be part of the family's business? A lot of people say, oh, it's not good to bring family members into your business. I say it's a yes or no answer, depending on whether the family member is qualified or not. So, but if you pass through these phases, if you prepare yourself and prepare the businesses very well, I can assure you that you can take it to the next level. And then my last slide, which is the architect summary. This is my notes to all of us today. The stark reality is only 30% of Nigerian family business survive past the first generation. This is true. Remember the question I asked us from the beginning. What you're building, is this something that will outlive you? If it's not, then you fall in the category of the 70%. So why do you want to waste your energy and resources doing that? What is the solution? Intentional architecture. You need to think strategically. Where should you plug yourself in, or who should you plug into what you're doing? It's as simple as that. And the method is to learn together, invest together, govern together, and then transform your businesses into an adaptive capital ecosystem. My core message, the goal is not just to pass on wealth, but to build a platform that reshapes reality across industrial revolutions. With this, I want to say thank you for coming, thank you for listening, and remember, knowledge is a waste until it is implemented. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mama. Thank you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. I used to say.
On the menu, I'm hungry perhaps. Yes, that was an icebreaker to get us laughing. Item 7, no, not yet. Fantastic. And so, from the powers that be, I have been instructed to invite a very distinguished guest here on stage for his goodwill message. He is the head corporate affairs at Smeden in the person of Alhaji Moshood Lawal. Can we please give him a resounding round of applause as he makes his way on stage for his goodwill message? Please keep clapping until he makes his way on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you so much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the already established protocol. I'm here on behalf of my Director General, Mr. Charles Odi, who is unavoidably absent. I'm sure will have loved to be part of this very, very interactive session. And he definitely sends his regrets. I want to first and foremost commend the convener for this wonderful experience at changing the direction of Nigeria. Thank you so much, convener. The thematic area is actually something that everybody should start thinking about, because we're in a period of paradox. As the apex body for small and medium businesses in Nigeria, the paradox is between the elderly people with experience, with capital, and lots of connections. On the other side, we have so many young Nigerians with zeal, aspiration to actually do more. So this transgenerational thing is something we need to start talking about. Imagine a tailor of 40 years doing wonderfully well in sewing fabrics and the rest. But we also have a youth who has the dexterity of the internet, social media savvy, but is wondering what he needs to do. So what we right now need to do is that connection between the old and the young, between the mentors and the mentee, between those that have the wealth and are getting old school, and those that have the ideas and I want to move into the next stage. We want to commend all the speakers for the wonderful introduction they've brought into the minds of the Nigerian MSMEs, that for us to actually live longer, we need to talk about structure, legal, and do a lot of things towards ensuring finance. I will not leave this stage without telling you that the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria is an agency of the federal government that is established to support small businesses. And one of the key challenges we keep having is this issue of connectivity. Annually, the federal government releases money. This month, you will hear 200 billion, 60 billion, 40 billion for small business owners. But when we go out into the field, you still find small business owners tell you that my greatest challenge is finance. Where is the money? Where is the connection? So Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria is interested in building capacities, reaching out with workspace, reaching out with market access, reaching out, of course, with capacity building to ensure that Nigerian small businesses move from being a small business to a large conglomerate that will be recognized globally. I want to conclude by telling you that Smilan has a slogan, which I want all of us to please say it in this hall. We say, think big, start small, and prosper. Can we please say it? Think big, start small, and prosper. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not started, start now. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, think big, start small, and then prosper. Is that the last part of it? Well, you know, if it was in those days I was in radio, I'd just charge you seriously for advertising now.
Advertising Sweden?
Of course, that's what he did now. But then it's good for our program. So thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for him, please.
Yes, please. And the next speaker would be joining us virtually. And?
Yes, he's a tech entrepreneur and an AI and cyber security expert. I mean, when Justice Mabel was speaking, somebody was that lady that screamed it was AI, right? And then Justice Mabel said, you have to prompt AI even to give you the right answer.
Absolutely.
Yes, so we are being joined now. He'll be speaking, joining us virtually, by Dr. Awuzie, who is a leading voice in Africa's digital transformation and the founder of Gemsborg Group. He has developed multi-tech solutions, including Africa's first generative AI platform. And his work spans AI, cybersecurity, and blockchain with a focus on solving complex global challenges.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause, the tech entrepreneur, AI, and cybersecurity experts in the person of Dr. Charles Awuzie. Please celebrate him. Media is Dr. Charles Awuzie, not Charles Arosanye. I understand they both bear Charles. So while we wait for that to be sorted out on the back end, can we have a quick interactive session as to what it is we've learned so far? Can we do that real quick? I need your energy. Remember, I told you I'm under the weather. Yes, I need that energy. So can we feed in on that energy? Ladies and gentlemen, a sound round of applause for yourselves. And so, do we have him ready now? Okay, so while we wait for him, I would, in no particular order, just come to you and ask you what you've learned so far. Da, 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 da. Say that again. You have a question. Okay, we can take one question while we wait for Dr. Charles. It has to be straight to the point and precise. Fantastic. Can we celebrate this fine gentleman, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, sir. Here you go.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. All protocols duly observed. My question is directly to this median representative. Okay, my name is Bright Obayi. I'm into tech as well as agriculture, so we can move on. So one of the things you said in your speech is that there is no connectivity between the fund that's been made available by the federal government through SMEDAN as well as and the people like myself that are in this room. So I was hoping that you would actually talk about how to bridge that connectivity. Yeah, that's my question. My question is, for somebody like me, how do I assess part of the 20 billion, 200 billion that government has made available?
You see, now he went straight to the point. Round of applause for 20 billion. Sir, did you get the question, sir? Do we have any other questions from a female this time? I like your smile. I'm coming to you. Can we give her a round of applause in advance? So you are to direct a question to any of the keynote speakers, which is a privilege, by the way. Straight to the point and precise. Introduce yourself, please.
Okay. My name is Chama Rosemary Onyekaba, and I'm the CEO of BBF and Cromstar Group. It's a privilege to address our legendary speaker, Mr. Nia Desaya.
Yes, sir. Question for you, sir.
Okay. So we have a lot of Nigerians who are banking on the notion that it is often right for you to create a niche for yourself by choosing one path to work on. And that is to say, being a brand owner of one particular, let's say like choosing to be a brand owner, but you have to pick one particular trend that you are known for. So a lot of times for people like us who diversify from both fashion, printing, branding, photography, and the rest of them, we are looked upon as people who won't make it because we are not focusing at a particular area in the business. How do you correct that notion, sir? Thank you.
Sir, did you get a question or do you want her to? Yes, sir, you would, after the fine gentleman from Sweden. So I think just to buttress to her point, there's this saying that a jack of all trades, master of none, but Nigerians seem to forget the total quote, which is oftentimes better than the master of one. And so, sir, straight to the point, you're going to respond to that fine gentleman who asked how he can gain access to the money. Everybody say money! Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Funny enough, from my experience in this program, I've just learned from Dr. Akisaya and, of course, our lead speaker that finance is usually not the first. Build trust, build a brand, and then you will see them coming. Easily, I'll tell you this. We have Bank of Industry, we have Bank of Agri, we have Development Bank of Nigeria, and of course, SMIDA. Now, what we do right now is we actually elevate that access to finance on the international, on global media. So what you should just do is Google any of those avenues. Go to Bank of Industry, go to Development Bank of Nigeria. You will likely see packages that have been done. What we will promise the convener, which has been doing very well for quite several times, we've seen now, the next edition, because I'm here right now, we will set up a business clinic just right outside this place. So that once we finish, we will be able to do one-on-one. The challenges, what we need to do and how we need to do it. I promise you that the next edition will be doing it. Thank you so much for giving us this platform.
Thank you so very much, Alhaji. So, Mr. Bright, you heard him. Build a brand, go online, apply. Nobody buys the best product. People buy the best known product. Can we celebrate this fine gentleman? Prince Pastor, sir, your turn.
Hope you know that the promise you made for next year is captured. So we'll cut it out for you and we'll send it to you so that I can send it to the DG that you have committed him and yourself. And then don't just bring the information. Also, try if you can be a part sponsor of the program so that there can be more people here. Just imagine if we had more people hear what you heard from myself and the Honorable Justice. So it's, are you committing to that also? Camera.
Round of applause for the commitment, ladies and gentlemen.
And then multi-talented. You won't make anything out of life. To be point blank. Build one. Once you have built a brand, a strong brand on that, you can use that to leverage others. You're dissipating energy. Now you are supposed to do some creative when it comes to fashion designing. Then they tell you to come and take pictures. You now carry your camera and I went to take pictures. And then the idea that came to you, instead of you to sit down and then, ruminate on it and build it up, you have gone to take pictures running around. Look at these guys running around. When you come back to that place, the idea has disappeared. It has disappeared. So stay with one. After you stayed with one, you built it up to a point when it can stand on its own. Then you now leverage into others. Now, which one do you take? The one, not the one that you are most passionate about. Is the one that is bringing the most money right now. Something like my passion, leave passion. Follow the money. After you have gotten the money, then come and pursue passion. And then one of the things you need to realize when it comes to all these things, because we kind of deceive ourselves a lot, is passion. I'm kind of losing my train of thought and everything. But definitely you've gotten what I said. Actually, when you look, okay, yeah, now I get it. They always tell you that multiple streams of income. You need to have multiple streams of income. You see, that statement alone, if you don't study very well, can distract you from not having any income eventually. People who make it in the billions and in the millions of dollars now, they stay with one thing. Now the proceeds from that thing, they now use that one to now plug into multiple streams of income. You want to do this, the money you're supposed to plow back to your business, you have gone to use it to buy one land somewhere or something like that. But focus on the business first. Put everything back in there. Except you don't trust the business. The business grows to the point that the business now can now give you all those residual income. You don't have a right to residual income if you don't have a normal income first. So That's the way it is. I think we need to just correct all that. And I thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Prince, Pastor. Did you enjoy that session? So can we please celebrate both those who asked questions and those who responded to those questions? I do now understand. Media, help me. So do we have Dr. Charles online now? We do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, remember I told you he would be joining us virtually. And so with a resounding round of applause, can we make welcome Dr. Charles Awuzie.
I'm not sure if anyone can hear me.
We can hear you. Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, okay. We are going to have to choose between hearing my voice, seeing my screen, or seeing my face. So I think I'll prefer that we have a look at my screen. Please do let me know if everyone can see my screen. Okay, I really can't get feedback from the audience, but if anyone can please just let me know if my screen is being projected. That will help me. Do you have Mr. Carl there? Mr. Carl?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, okay, good stuff. Yeah, but I want to know if my screen is being projected. So I just know if I'm speaking to the audience with my screen being projected. Otherwise, I will just go ahead.
Yes, it is.
First of all, I want to say a big thank you to the organizers of this great conference, the CEO portal. I've had a look at your past events, and I'm super proud of the great vision behind these events. I mean, there are conferences everywhere, but when you find a conference like this, where the vision is, well defined and targeted as the most critical, infrastructure for, of our nation, the business community, then you know you found a great space to network, a great space to innovate, and a great space to build. So thank you so much to the CEO portal, especially to my sister, Barrister Patience, and Mr. Keller. You both have done such an amazing job. And the Car Truth podcast, definitely. Thank you so much. And in case you hear my voice today, my name is Charles Awuzie, and I'm the CEO of Gamesburg Group in South Africa. We've just kickstarted the Delaware, USA Gamesburg operations. And we're in Cape Town, and if you've seen online, we are looking at getting into Newi, Nigeria soon. And today we are going to be looking at something that I captioned applied artificial intelligence for CEOs. This will be a practical approach in the use of AI in business growth, automation, and at the end of the day, I believe some of you will, get that competitive advantage to compete in your various industries. We've heard this several times. We've heard people say it. AI will replace people. AI will replace businesses. Well, the truth is, AI will not replace you, but your competitors who use AI will take care of business. What that means is if you are not embedding AI in your businesses, if you are not implementing artificial intelligence at scale in your businesses, there is a high possibility that you may have no business in the nearest future. And this cuts across every industry, from those in healthcare to those in fintech, from those in tech to those in furniture. There is something that AI can do for your business, and that's what we're going to have a look at today. But first, you must know that this thing is already here. It's no longer futuristic. We're not predicting that AI will do this. No. The technology is here. The solution is here. But what is not here is the adoption. It's no longer some concept, that we once 10, 12 years ago felt were just fiction or science fiction. AI is one technology that we all can see its impact across industries. It's shaping how we move products. It's shaping how we relate with customers. It's literally disrupting industries. SaaS, and that's software as a service, is massively disrupted. And that's no thanks to AI. There is a global shift. We're moving from retail industry, scanning through finance, to healthcare, looking for just one industry that AI has not impacted, and we can't find one. Businesses across the world right now are catching up with this technology. I believe same is happening across Nigeria. I've been in touch with a couple of businesses and business people, and I'm super excited, I'm super impressed with the adoption, with the speed of adoption AI across Nigerian businesses. And like you all know, AI is and in cost. We can do better. We are still at pretty much early stages. So window of that area advantage is still open. In the next couple of months, if not year, I believe anyone who is not currently adopting or implementing AI in their processes will be doing catching up. Right now, as we speak, we all know how difficult it is to do business in Nigeria. There is this video circulating online. I've actually shared it on my platform where a CEO, I believe the CEO of MoneyPoint, noted that he couldn't find 500 people to fill 500 vacancies in his organization. I mean, we've had all the, buzzballs and all of that stuff going on with that trend. But here's the truth. There is actually a limitation in the supply of skilled labor or skilled manpower in Nigeria. That's a huge challenge. If you want to build very sophisticated technologies, you want to run, big data-based, businesses at scale, you're going to struggle to find the skill you need to, get that done. That's a huge challenge. That there is that talent gap, which is somehow, if you've been in boardrooms across the world, in China, in Europe, they'll ask you, do we have the skills in Nigeria? Yes, we want to do this. We want to bring in CNC machines. We want to, bring in X kind of business, but do we have the skills? And the truth is this: when they ask those kind of questions, they're not asking you if you have, graduates or if you have PhD holders, right? They're not asking you that. They're asking if you have, a refined set of highly skilled people with great trainings in that field who can execute that operation with excellence. And the truth is, if we find them, yes, we can find them, but they're expensive. They're mostly in, the big companies are not willing to be hired by smaller businesses like ours and yours. So that becomes a challenge. And that, affects operational and overhead costs. We all know the cost of, buying petrol, because you really have to supply your own energy in a country like ours, Nigeria. So at the end of the day, what we see is slower internal systems and very archaic manual processes. And the customers are not happy. There is inconsistent digital deployment of infrastructure. And at the end of the day, what do we get? We can't scale, we can't grow, we can't build the next big thing in tech, in fintech. We can't build the next X, we can't build the next Meta, we can't build the next Google from Africa and in Nigeria. And then enters the big masquerade, AI. AI is a leveler. I always say it levels the ground for everyone to play. It's the most single powerful tool today available to small and medium businesses globally. Like I said, it levels the playing ground, giving you powers that you never had, that I never had myself. Things we once dreamt of doing, like, there was a time that if you could ever imagine that one individual will start a business and scale it to $1 billion in months, I mean, you'll just be talking some crap. Nobody will take you seriously. Nobody. But today we've seen that happen. We've seen solo entrepreneurs building AI-powered teams, building businesses from scratch, and scaling to $1 billion. And there is one that scaled, I think, to almost multiple billions in dollars. And that's the kind of power that we have today in our generation. And AI has not just become another your strategic lever, which turns a small operation into a competitive powerhouse. I was on a call yesterday with one of our clients. We're planning an AI for business conference in Lagos. And we've got this guy, he runs a company called Move JJ. I believe his name is Mr. Gochuku. In case he's hearing me, this is a shout out. Not a commercial, but I'm going to use a story to tell a story. Now, he's building this beautiful business. He's got a competitor, I'm not going to mention their name, and big company, very massive. And I asked him, I said, do you want to compete with them? He said, no, I can't because they are too big. And so he calls them his standard. He's not, they are not his competitor. I said, that's interesting. By the end of that call, Mr. Gochuku realized that the difference between, the big guys by the right and the small business building are structures, processes, automated systems. And before that, these were just courses we did in MBA classes. These were just things we heard, from YouTube channels and podcasts. And today, these things are actually becoming a reality. People can automate entire systems, entire processes, and get things done in a big way, but with a small budget. And this is a miracle of the 21st century. So, as we can see, this is a leveler. And the good thing is, you who is seated in that room today, you can choose to stop seeing that big competitor of yours as a standard, but as a competitor that you can use the power of AI to face, without fear. Now the question is, what is this applied AI? What are we even talking about? Is it just some rocket science, or just another motivational talk? Look, we're moving away from theories. We're moving away from science fiction. We're talking practical technologies that can be deployed inside of business. In fact, for those of us who come from another generation, you can tell that walking into the PC generation, where you have laptops and personal computers, you'd see one very tiny logo on almost every laptop, and that's before your MacBook Pros and all of that stuff. You'll see Intel inside. A logo usually placed on top of, just very close to where you find the mouse on a laptop. Intel inside, and in PCs you find it at the back of the CPU or somewhere. And there's a shift. What we're about to see, or what we're beginning to see, is a new kind of logo placed on every business, AI inside. So they move from Intel inside, and this is just theoretical. I mean, Intel is still pretty much powerful, and they have one of the biggest shares in the tech world. But get this point. We are not planting, or businesses are not planting AI across the operations. And that's what applied AI means. Is when you use AI to solve real business problems, when you use AI to save money, and you use the power of AI to generate real revenue, and AI drives you more revenue than even your outdated processes could ever have done. That's when you can say, yes, we have AI inside our business. This will save you time by automation. When events, operations that were repetitive now becomes automated. It reduces cost. Things you could have paid, for example, developers, software engineers, and web, designers to do. Today you can just go on a platform that automates website creation and get those kind of things done quickly at almost 20% of the cost. That if you had hired people to do those things, it could have been way higher in cost. Businesses today are improving how they satisfy their customers using AI. In fact, that happened to me just before this call. A few minutes ago, I got a message from an organization in the UK, and honestly, I just responded with my response, and it took a bit of time, about 2 minutes or so, and responded to me in a way that I felt it was human. But I just got curious, and I just typed and said, "Look, are you a human or bot?" And I mean, before then, that experience was mind-blowing. I just registered with something, and then there's a follow-up via WhatsApp, direct WhatsApp follow-up. Amazing. And it felt so real, it felt so human. You would never believe that it was a bot. I'm going to come to that later, the humanization of AI to drive real human connections in business operations. I'm going to come to that later. But this felt really good. And something just said to me, ask. Just try and find out if this is a human, because if it's AI, it will only just expose this stuff. It's one of the most transparent piece of technologies. So I asked, I said, are you a bot or a human? As expected, he told me that it's a bot. And immediately I realized that the kind of experience or customer experience I had experienced with this piece of bot would not have been given, by a human. The speed, the excellence in communication, it was just out of the world, and it felt so human. That's the crazy part. It felt so human, and that's where the world is going. That's where the world is going. Just recently, we launched a bot on Telegram, and it works 247. It's something we've been trying to achieve over the years. It works 247. It helps people, in that industry. I'm not going to mention the industry. It helps people to learn about a certain asset, financial asset. And the beautiful thing is, we built this with just one asset in mind. And when the market saw its potentials, we got organizations calling. One of them being, the second biggest exchange. I won't mention their name again, out of respect for the platform. They got a call from them, and we're like, guys, let's have a partnership. We've seen what you guys can build. We've tested it, and we're happy to apply this, across our own platform, and find a way to help each other grow. Amazing, isn't it? That's amazing. And to be very honest with you, since launch, we are onboarding at least 1,000 people every day. The biggest selling point is that there is AI inside this technology, or inside this bot, meaning it can make better decisions. Whatever it gives you, is based on a well-structured logic, and that is selling. And that just shows you how much you can build, how much you can automate using AI. And if you've been struggling to, increase your revenue in your businesses, you've just better got to implement or integrate or apply artificial intelligence. Please tell me if I'm not audible enough. I think I'm actually shouting. Okay, because I can't see your faces today, but I believe everyone is following. So can almost think that they are just arrogant or, some class of untamed humans that escaped from, somewhere. So the energy is real. It gives us enemies. It gives us attacks. It's the reason why the world, some part of the world may not like us. But it is still the same reason why we are building things from scratch. It's the same reason why with almost less than 10% of FDI, Nigeria is building massive industries in fintech, in real estate, in energy. I always say to people, Nigeria is one country. If you've been across the world, you discover that Nigeria is one country that has literally built its own industries. Literally. You travel to other countries, you find that mix of, that multiracial mix, that multicultural mix. And you can understand how and why they build the things they build. Because if you, for example, have people from Europe, China, and all of that stuff, who are not just foreigners, right? Who are not, foreign investors, who are locals, building like the country is theirs. I mean, you have it in a different kind of experience. Unlike when you find, a homogeneous population building from scratch and doing all these things by themselves with very little funding from international funders because of lack of trust, right? And you still find them building great technologies, great startups, great businesses. You can't match their energy. So if you are right in that room today and you can hear my voice, understand that I have so much respect for that entrepreneurial energy, which is unmatchable. Now imagine combining that energy with the powers that AI brings. You literally become unstoppable. So we are moving from, an unmatched energy as Nigerians to an unstoppable business community, building great industries, great solutions, with great resilience, powered by artificial intelligence. And that's one of the reasons why, if you are building in Nigeria, I always say, just build and build. Just keep building. Honestly, it might look impossible. It might look like you're in the right or in the wrong space at some time. But just don't stop building. Don't stop building. There are new technologies that are coming that will amplify the things you've been building. Just like AI, there is more that is coming, right? There is more. And the thing is, there is the question of cost. But you can see that with every new invention, the cost just keeps getting better. Isn't that right? Just keep, getting better. And if you can match with, if you can match your energy with innovation, I promise you, there will be no force or no economy that will be able to match with what you are building. And I have to stop there for today, and I believe I'll join you again shortly. But to the organizers of this great conference, I just want to say, keep building CEOs, keep building communities. Nigeria is rising. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone.
Dr. Charles Awuzie, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you, please. Yeah, can you cut that off, please? Thank you very, very much. Well, our time is fast spent today, but we are gradually rolling out and seeing how far we can go and the impact all of this can make. So, without further ado, we'll just bring up the next speaker almost immediately to the stage. He's a man I've interacted with in my broadcasting days. We used to ban a lot on radio. He will come in, we will talk, shout. He knows the economy, I know the law, and I know radio. So it was always good to see him grow, evolve, and then become one of Nigeria's most economics, known for bridging microeconomic theory with real-world application. I mean, the man has gone ahead to advise both public and private institutions and has deep experience across multiple institutions. He's a recognized thought leader, as I said. He is passionate about the economic reliance and sustainable national growth and also of Nigeria. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Paul Alaje.
Thank you so very much for having me. Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, Honorable Justice, I also want to welcome my own very senior brother, Dr. Niyi. Thank you so much. And the person that connected me with the convener, Dr. Oke, thank you. Our daddies and mommies, please let's put our hands together for them. Thank you so much for coming. All the invited guests. I also want to welcome someone, but I don't think I would like to welcome this person while we are all seated. Please, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join me by standing to put your hands together for the conveners of this event. Please put your hands together for them. We live in an era where everybody is complaining. Please have your seats. We live in an era where everyone is complaining, but very few people are doing something about the complaints. My name is Paul Alaje. I'm here to speak with us about generational connection. And I'll be speaking, I don't know if you can help me project the slides. I will be speaking if the technical team can help me, I will sincerely appreciate it. Please help me project the slides. Okay, so idea rules the world. How many of us agree that idea rules the world? Okay, that's fantastic. Fantastic comment. If you have an idea, you're supposed to read the world because idea rules the world. So how many of us are ruling the world right now? If idea rules the world. We're ruling the world. Idea rules the world. We all raise our hands. How many of us are ruling the world? The hand reduced by nearly 98%. There is a disconnect, and we are here for connection. How do we connect the dots? Let me ask you, the last time I was in this hall was 2018. I was not the main speaker, I was Mogbomoya. I was called 3 days to the event by a very respected individual who organized a conference called the Free Conference. I only had 10 minutes to speak that day, and this hall was almost burned. Thank God it's a military facility, because people were going to. I will ask you the few questions before my slide come up. I'm waiting while I wait for the slide. I have just 17 minutes. I hope the time will restart when my slide come up. Okay, is Dangote in this meeting today? Can you see Dangote around us? Did he come? Thank you. Put your hands together for yourself. Fantastic. Dangote is not here. Is Mike Adenuga in this meeting? Did they come? Let me be honest with you. Dangote is here. He was here before we came. When we go to our houses, we remain here. What is Dangote? Dangote is the cement that held this block together. Listen, it's in your houses. It's in your homes, in your kitchens. Mike Adenuga is the person you carry around when you go, when you travel, because you are holding ghost team. Why many people live in abject poverty, even though they are very knowledgeable, they are very good people, they have sincere heart, is because they have not perfected the art of knowing what the very few people know. My slide is still not here, but my time is 16 minutes. I will just start anyway. If time permits us, I will look at that. So I'll be speaking today on what I've titled From Income to Legacy. From Income to Legacy. My focus will be, my perspective will be economic and institutional wealth creation nature. So most of the things I'll be speaking from the angle, that will be my perspective. Okay, so what are the core questions while we wait for the slides? While we wait for the slide. Can African wealth survive beyond one generation? How many people have built beyond 2 generations? I think I will give it to FCMB. It's one of the few institutions that build beyond 2nd generation. But of 100% of our businesses, how many are built beyond 2nd generation? So if we must build beyond 2nd generation, what must we do? Over 70% of family of wealthy globally disappear when it gets to 2nd generation. A lot of people are focused on how do I be comfortable, have a lot of wealth, and will this wealth to my children so that they will not suffer again. But is that really correct? Is that really correct? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. So let's go to, I think I'm now on 3rd slide. Yes, is that really correct? I'm sure we know 1 or 2 persons that their father were wealthy at a time. I don't want to mention names. I don't want to sound condescending. They were really wealthy at a time. But today, are they where many people, even themselves, they were shocked? Because I have a few friends that said they were not at where they thought they would be. Perhaps because of upbringing, perhaps because of knowledge and a few other things. So Africa has strong entrepreneur, but we are very weak community system. I had meeting with a couple of friends in the Middle East, and for those of us that play in the same industry, I was the only black guy there. I realized that they fragmented the market into colors. One, Europeans and America, they call them the 1st class people. The 2nd class are the Asian, Indians, and Chinese. And the 3rd group are African. So I was happy because I'm the only African. All I needed to do was to be friends with the Americans and be friends with the Indians, and I attended the same meeting. Now, so the currency we will spend is a community currency. If we must meet up with what many people are doing already. Many businesses are personality driven instead of institutional driven or institution driven. True wealth must survive economic, political, and leadership transition. Let me ask us, I'm an economist, so I should know. And if you see, what I'll be discussing next is the overview of Nigeria economic climate. You know, we have global and domestic economic pressure. Is that correct? Pressure. People are looking at inflation, 15.38%. Recent number released by the Bureau of Statistics. Unemployment, about 4.2 on 1 hour a work a week. People are looking at poverty. Poverty is around 141 million people living below the poverty line. Pressure everywhere. Israel versus Iran war has increased. It has led to increase in price of PMS that many of us consume from about 799 naira to about 1,400. Almost 100% jump. We are faced with pressure. Rising cost of living across board. Household well-being dropping per time. What then must we do? What then must we do? This is the approach for most people. Please, I don't want to say next slide. The person there should just follow me. You will see that I'm giving you hints for my presentation. I'm already giving you, when I say I'm discussing Nigeria economy, please just follow me. No, I've left this slide. What we are doing, we're just chasing our tail. You see a dog that chases its tail. Will he ever catch up? What must we therefore do differently? What must we therefore do differently? We need to follow what we call transgenerational capital. Transgenerational capital. Capital is more than money. Many people stay with elementary economics. Factors of production. What are they? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. We stay with that. But it's more than that. It includes asset system, networks, governance. That's capital. That's capital. I remember someone very powerful, I was in a business, and someone very powerful told me, we will never allow you in this town to do X, Y, Z. I said, no problem. A friend of mine who was a city minister, I went to his house casually to greet him. He said, but I'm frowning. I said, I have a big problem. A powerful man said, I can't do this. He said, he didn't tell him that you have a powerful friend. I said, I've not told him. So he told his PA to call the man, and he mentioned his name. The man that vowed by his father's grave that that thing will not be done told me that it was your competitor that told us to stop you. How much do you think I would have had to fight him? Because he was using the institution of government against me. So everything is not money, it's not money, it's not cash. Network, governance, values. Financial way without structure will collapse over time. How many millionaires do we have in this room? How many millionaires do we have in this room? How many do we have? Thank you so much. About 10%. Okay, let me ask you this way. How many of us have spent $1 million this year? This is May. You have spent $1 million. Wait. Okay. Are we breaking the law of economics in Nigeria? Because expenses equals income equals what? So if your expenses should equal income, you have spent all the money without putting the money where they will come back to you. That should equal to your income. So we all spend millions, but we are not making them back. Generational wealth require institutional what? Continuity. Legacy is measured by sustainability, not consumption. Many people want to show how big they are, how rich they are, by how much they spend. Meanwhile, it is the exact opposite that proves how rich or wealthy you are. Exact opposite. Let's see African structural challenge. Most African SMEs fail before second generation. Let me warn for those of us in IT here. I was a friend of mine in the UAE, and we're having a conversation on a coffee table, around the coffee table. And we're discussing how people raise, and this was 2022. Most of the things I told him then have happened today. Many people in IT space, what they want to raise, please know the difference, is that they want to raise money. Raise $1 million, $2 million. Only you have not made anything. Those are people's money. Are you aware that going to the market to raise money is different from making profits? Are you aware that some big businesses are not profitable? They are not profitable, they are just big, but they are not profitable. You may love it. Dr. Adetoye talked about not knowing your passion. I don't have time to talk about it. You can be passionate about coding, and hunger will code you. Who coding help? How much are you making at the end of the day? You can do all the coding if you like, but is it translating to naira and kobo? Is it translating to dollar and cent? Is it translating to pound? So don't tell me how beautiful the idea is. I asked you, idea read the word. You say yes. How many people are reading the word? 98% of the hands dropped. Weak documentation reduce business continuity. Low trust, etc., etc. I will leave this slide because I think I don't have time. Let me just show you the movement pathway from survivor to legacy. Just 5 steps. 1, income generation. You need to generate income. If you are not earning now, you are unemployed, you need to do any of these. Show me how you will make money. Show me how you will help me to save money. Show me how you will help me make money. Show me how you will help me save money. You are employed. Don't worry. I don't need any other interview. So if you are unemployed, I don't care about your degree. I just care about 2 or 3 things. How will you help me make money? Then you will get a job. Or how will you help me save money? Then you get a job. So now when you start making money, the first thing that should come to your mind is capital what? Can you see this? Like capital acquisition. Asset acquisition, I beg your pardon. Is what? Asset acquisition. In Nigeria, in Africa, what is common as asset acquisition is land, real estate. But real estate is not limited to land. Real estate is so vast. It's not only land. The next one you see is institutional structuring, then capital preservation. The last part, which is the most important part, is multi-generational expansion. I will go to economic reality and wealth transfer. Without governance, inherited wealth declines rapidly. If there is no governance around it, then you don't really have anything. It's just for you to live, to eat, and be happy ever after. That being happy ever after, I'm sorry, is not more than 40 years. you will never be able to transfer it if there is no governance around it. Inflation erodes idle cash. Do you know what inflation means? We tried though, 34% reported. You know, SG is my friend, so I will go with official number. Fashion General is my friend. My Egmon, Inife, AU. You know what 34% means? And we survived that for years. It means, sir, if you have 1,340,000 is useless. And we survived that for about 2 years. How did we do it? It erodes value. So if you're only thinking how I'll be rich, how I will live in big mansion, you need to have a second thought. Because, let me show you this. Global economic crisis has happened in the last 8 years. I can tell you it will happen again in the next 2 years. 2018, it was Trump versus China. Trade war. He said we cannot have 500 billion trade deficit against China. In 2020, it was COVID. In 2022, it was Vladimir Putin versus Ukraine. In 2024, it was Hamas versus Israel. In 2026, it was America, Israel on the side versus Iran. No, if you look at the prediction, it's too perfect for you not to have another one in 2028. In 2028, does that mean fuel prices will go up again? Does that mean you will pay more to buy tickets? Does that mean sachets of pure water will not remain 550 naira? It may go to 100, it may go to 200. Does that mean as a nation, we also have some fiscal crisis? Only if we can start planning from now, so that we are not wondering what is happening around the globe. I have to jump. Let me just go to 5 pillars of generational wealth, and I can stop there. I'm not sure I will have time to explain them. One is financial intelligence. Please, by all means, do everything, all the materials that will help you become intelligent. And there are ways you can get that. Through books, through relationships. Through books, through relationships, through what you watch. See, I don't watch football. I say it on I don't even know the name of any player apart from few Nigerian players. Because how will